What's up, guys? BARRYGAMING here, back with some more Eternal Evolution, and today we're going to be talking about the big strength that Samael brings to a PvP team. Now, he's more or less a PvP hero compared to some of the more traditional heroes like Dominic. I mean, Dominic is just the most hands-down dominating PvE hero in the game, even more so than Koraxia, you know, the SP hero. It's crazy how he works. When you have both of them on your team, it gets absurdly strong. But there's something I do want to talk about assassins, and it's kind of something I've been talking about. Number one is, for the average player, Rickert will still be a very solid assassin for you. He synergizes extremely well on teams. However, in comparison to all the new assassins, he is now on the bottom of the list, kind of. You have Bailey as one of the worst. You have Helen, who is really crappy in most game modes, but if you're talking about Hell Arena, she's absolutely god tier. And then you have Rickert, who kind of falls behind now, and then kind of tied for that third place spot in between Samael and Motoko. But Motoko is an exclusive hero that newer players aren't going to be able to get their hands on. Both of them do AoE with their ultimate skills, so they're very similar. However, there's one thing that I've seen really jumps out, is that Samael actually makes it possible so that if you're fighting hunter teams with Artemis and everything, there's a chance to win, and there's a very big reason for it. Number one is you are most likely going to have to get exclusive 30 to get the extra revive. You're probably going to want to push him as far to Immortal 5 as possible as well, if you care about PvP. Beyond that, you really don't care as much about the actual amount of damage he's doing necessarily. I would probably prioritize on this hero running something that's going to give you the accuracy you want, because if you take a look at this skill right here, based on his accuracy, he has a chance to stun the target for 2 rounds, and in PvP, stunning is absolutely ridiculously strong. Beyond that, I'd probably switch the Marauder heals on him over to a defensive one as well, and there's a very big reason for that. So as you guys know, most hunter teams that are currently countering assassin teams in PvP revolve around one main thing. You burst the bejesus out of the team. They don't have a chance to get close enough to you. You interrupt all of their movement abilities, and then all of a sudden they're dead. However, there's a couple key things in a PvP assassin team that is really strong right now. Number one, of course, is still running the same support hero, Fiona, because she gives that immunity that is just really strong. She gives damage reduction. There's so many things that she does. Burst of energy in the early rounds is really strong. She's still the best support for your assassins. However, there's something interesting going on here, and that's the fact that one big downside I always saw with Koraxia was, yes, she does have a chance to revive 2 times in combat, but most of the time, by the time she dies, if nobody else is alive on the battlefield, the battle is simply over. What this new hero is now allowing it to happen is Koraxia and him are kind of bouncing back and forth, reviving each other. And when that also happens, that's giving the other revives on your team. Where is it? Right here. It's somewhere right here, right? Yeah, so whenever an ally hero dies, they can only attack with their base attacks, but base attacks inherit the deadly action effect, increasing their attack speed by 1,000. That is really, really strong, because they just last on the battlefield longer, dealing damage, and they're not really targetable or anything, so they can't soak up damage. But I do want to show you a PvP combat that I did notice is really interesting, that I kind of ran on my own account against one of the other top heroes. We were in Hell Arena here. I'm going to go to the battle report, and I want to show this first battle right here. It is almost a loss, and occasionally it actually is. You would not think this type of hunter team would lose to assassins right now, but I'm going to show you exactly what happens. And again, it really comes down to the fact that you can just continuously revive over and over. You see Koraxia down the bottom here. She's about to go down. We can actually speed this up. And she does eventually die here. However, yeah, even the other kind of assassin heroes aren't doing much. Rickert is kind of low everything. But the one thing is, Samael is still alive, and you'll notice here in a second, Dominic's still up, which is good. You're going to see Koraxia come back alive. He comes back alive too, and they kind of just like ping pong back and forth revive. He actually revives at a much faster rate too. Maybe their Koraxia doesn't even have it, but that is one thing I noticed is like there is the possibility for this team to die. I think actually I've had it lose. Yeah, right here you can see a combat where an assassin team's actually beating an Artemis team, which is disgusting. It's crazy how the hero, the new SP hero that was designed to counter a faction, still can't actually get the job done sometimes. The other thing to remember is this new hero reduces energy. That also helps counter the hunters because so much of their power comes from their ultimate abilities. If they can't get to their ultimates, you can see right here, they just start overwhelming the hunter team. And if they overwhelm them, they keep reviving, they keep coming back. You can see Koraxia just came back again too. It's a close battle, but it is something that this new hero really does help support. Now, his team would probably win even more if he had a better assassin in there in the next spot. One thing to remember, Dominic is not actually that great in PvP from my experiences. A lot of times he'll mark the target that's about to die anyway, so a lot of his big ultimate damage doesn't go off. In reality, I think if I had to pick a pure assassin team, I would probably go with Koraxia, Motoko, the new hero, and then I mean, it's hard to say. Dominic, he doesn't have much survivability in this type of team. You'll see he goes down a lot without producing much damage. Rickard does, however, have a lot of damage and kind of survivability. He's one of the best survivability heroes that doesn't die. So again, this is one thing I'm going to work towards on our account. We currently have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5, 6 assassins now for something like Hell Arena. What I really want to try to experiment with, and I'll let you guys know exactly what we do, is in Hell Arena, I want to try to configure 2 assassin teams at this point. Because having, I think, Koraxia and Hellenatus on our same lineup feels like a big waste. It's so much power just on one lineup. I think now that we have the new hero as well, what we'll do is we'll have one very offensive team that doesn't have the Annihilator. I'm thinking something like designing the teams like this moving forward. We have one team that still needs a lot of support. I'm thinking kind of like this, that is more around the lines of using Annihilation and then adding some other hero to this team. Honestly, even just to like boost the stats or something, we could add like a Vanguard hero in here to maybe soak up some hits and everything. That might not be the worst thing to do here. Maybe a team like that. And then on this team here, going for one that is much more offensive, heroes that have better survivability and can potentially, you know, live a little bit longer. Maybe do something like this where we switch over to this one here. They also get the tanky prototype too, whereas over here we go more for offense, and then something along these lines here potentially. I don't know, just go for some stats here, go for the better commander, and run something like this. Again, adding in like another type of hero. Again, I don't think running like a Bailey or something like that is really gonna do anything for us. Honestly, maybe just chucking in some random survivability hero, or maybe a good energy damage deal in the back row. Or heck, you'd even do something like a res and make this a very offensive team. Maybe splitting it up like this to see how it actually performs. We'll test that out next time, but now that we have more assassins, I think you can do something like this where one of the teams is more tanky, the other one is more glass cannony, and that's mainly because, well, they have a ton of revives, so it's something they can afford to die, come back, and continue the battle. So let me know what you guys think. It's just my idea. I'm really enjoying this hero though. I can't wait to get him maxed out because he's still not maxed out. We'll probably do even more summons and try to push him closer to Immortal 5 as well to get him good to go for PvP. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys next time.